In this video, we'll demonstrate how top lights, up lights, pattern lights, specials, and others function. You know, the major thing I'm trying to show here is just these lights are all coming from different directions, and so they're doing different things, you know. So if you look at the key light, let me see if I let's turn the fill off for now, and I start to change it. Just do that. If I bring it around the front more, now it flattens it out. You almost wouldn't be any reason to have a fill light at this point because you just got it lit really flat. You got it lit right from the front. You might need to take it up if you, for instance, had the bad reflection of glasses or something. You might need to take it up. But then, you know, maybe you get some shadows, and then maybe you need to add some fill because, like now, I don't like those dark shadows in his eyes. So maybe now I got to add a fill light back in because it's because there's some dark shadows in there. You know, so that filled that back in. Or, you know, if he's not wearing glasses, it could come back in. Could come back in at a lower angle, and that might be more flattering. And then you could bring it, you know, over on the side. Now this, when I'm holding this horizontal, it's a very soft source. It wraps around a lot, and so it's very soft, subtle kind of a modeling. You know, wrapping very gently around. If I put it vertically, it's it wraps around a little less. You know, so if then I put it over here, you know, now is where you're definitely going to see a fill light because you've got definitely got a shadow side. So turn this over here like that, and I've got a definite key side and a dark side, a shadow side. So I could then take this fill light and put it directly in the front. It kind of does the same thing either way to a certain extent. And it's just filling in the shadows. There's some nice things about putting it in the front. It's not gonna, if it's coming from directly where the camera is, it's not gonna create its own shadow. So you're not gonna get another shadow on the other side of his nose. It's not something you'd probably see, but you know, it's just gives you still this sense of there's really just kind of one light source. It also becomes a catch light, but it could certainly function that way. But also, it's common enough to, you know, put your key light on the other side from the fill. One of the advantages of that is that it's not in their face, so you know they're not squinting. It's not distracting. You know, if you're doing an interview or something, if you have a non-professional person, you know, it's just not. It's kind of more out of the way, and then it really is doing almost the same thing. They're very similar looks either way. But and if you bring it around, you can bring it around a good bit. It's pretty flexible, but there comes a point where it starts to become an edge light. Now it's really not a fill light now because in between one side and the other side, you still got shadow, so it's really not filling in anymore. So you know it's got to be kind of a range of position where it functions as a fill light. And then I already moved the edge around a little bit so you could see, you know, the difference in position with that. So if you're outside, obviously you can't move the sun. So what can you do direction-wise? Well, you can change your subject and your camera angle, right? So here you got your subject directly facing the sun. It's pretty flat and blinding, not to mention which. And maybe step back a couple steps. Just back into the, yeah, there you go. Face this way. And now we got, you know, from the side, that's probably more tolerable eyeline wise, and it's a rather different look. And then, give me a step back up here. And then you can backlight, which I think really looks nice in the sun. Now you might want to reflect some light back in. We can go over that in a later class, but you know, those, and then obviously by picking your background, you can determine how bright or dark the contrast of the background is. Click on the next video to continue. New videos drop every couple of days. If you like what you see, like and follow us on our social media channels. And everything is downloadable for free on our website, ruchiproductions.com.